Hello, this is Get More PC podcast number 4. And the name of this podcast is 3 things to look at for your backup solution. 3 things to be mindful of in your backup solution. So those 3 things are, 1, that it is happening. So that you do have a backup in place and that it is happening. 2, that it's happening also off-site. So you're covered for catastrophic failure. And number 3, that it is secure. What good is a backup if anybody can get to it? So let's start with number 1. A backup ain't a backup unless it's backing up on a regular basis. So this needs to be a scheduled thing that needs to be happening. And the best way to find out if that's the case is to just do a restore. Hey, let's do a restore. Let's pretend to do a restore. You don't want to wait until there's actually a disaster to try to do a restore. Let's do one now. Let's just see, hey, where's a file that we made last week? Okay, can we get to it from offsite? No? Well, then you probably need to reevaluate your backup. That's probably not working. So, is your backup working? That's the first and foremost, most important thing to check about your backup scenario solution, right? What is your backup solution and is it happening? So that's number 1. Is it happening? Number 2, is it offsite? That is just something that you really don't want to find out after the case. And that's part of the reason I'm doing this video is, if you've had some kind of a disaster happen at your office, say there was a flood, say there was a fire, say there was a theft and somebody broke in and stole all of your equipment, including your server and all your hard drives. Where is your backup at? Was it offsite? So Get More PC offers managed offsite backups at a very affordable rate of $1 a gigabyte. It's very competitive. And you can know via reports that these backups are happening. And they're off-site. So your whole business could get hit by a meteor and we could go to your house, log in, download a program, restore the files. There's all your files. So it has to be off-site. It can't be on-site. Now you should do on-site too because a lot of times those are quicker to restore. If you need some files real quick, yeah, it's fine if you have an external hard drive. But that external hard drive, if it's connected to your server, it could get fried if your server gets fried. So, is it offsite? And number 3, is it secure? So, if you have files and they're important to you, important enough to back up, they're probably somewhat sensitive. And you probably don't want everybody in the world seeing what those are. So, a common way to move files from one place to another is an FTP. So maybe you're just dumping all your files up to an FTP nightly. Well, here's a problem. FTP is not a secure protocol. That file is not being encrypted as it's being transferred to the server, the FTP server. So that's a kind of one example on how to secure a backup. I'll give you a more detailed example. It may be that you have security protocol in place on the folders that you're trying to back up. And somebody needs access to this, somebody needs access to this, somebody needs access to this. You may want to preserve that folder security structure in your backups, which is not impossible. It's easy. So your NTFS security structure needs to be preserved. Are the files encrypted when they're backed up? So if somebody got into your backup system and they started looking at your files, could they get to them or would they need a decryption key? Do you have that decryption key stored somewhere safe? These are the things I think about whenever I set up a backup for a client. Hopefully it's what your IT is thinking about whenever they set them up. If you don't know about them and your backup is sort of just being handled by somebody else, there really should be documentation for that. Just in case, God forbid, your IT guy get hit by a bus. Somebody else needs to know how to get into those backup files. And you may want to know, if you're the business owner, you may want to know how to get to your backup files. So those are my top 3 things to look at when you're evaluating your backup strategy, your disaster recovery strategy. So I hope those are helpful to you. I'd love to talk to you about your backup strategy. I'm one of those weirdos that just loves to talk about backup strategies. And I'd much rather talk about backup before backup needs to have been run, as opposed to afterwards when we're trying to do data recovery, which is costly, when we have to send a drive off and somebody has to open the disk up and try to find the data that's on those disks. That's not a fun thing to do. So this is Get More PC podcast number 3. Daniel Buchanan signing off. I hope this is helpful to you. Have a great day.